Hello everyone, I'm Shorné Bennie.
And I'm Zama Myeza, and welcome to another episode of WitnessTV.
Hi Zama, how are you?
I'm good, sis. How are you?
I'm well.
On the past few episodes that we've been looking at live behind the scenes at the Witness, how to create a newspaper, how to how marketing does
What they do?
basically. So it was very interesting to find out that with Chris, for example, like how the behind the scenes of a making a newspaper happens.
Printing.
Yeah, printing the paper happens from the colors that they use. Did you know that they use 3 colors?
It's just 3.
Only 3
And
colors to create the whole newspaper.
There's an art to mixing these colors, and
It was so interesting to find out.
reads the paper like he reads a copy just to check on the print quality. And yeah,
It's just mind blowing. And also with Cheryl, I didn't know that Cheryl was a runner.
she
She
runs-
runs like
she does
almost
like 5 a.m. runs or something.
almost every morning. It was so nice to find out. But yeah, come along as we get to know more about life at the Witness.
Joining me today is the marketing manager of the Witness, Justin Goldstone. Justin, lovely to have you with us today. And I know you're going to bring your antiques along.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, great stuff. So, firstly, your surname. Did you ever get teased for it? Or
As a St. Charles boy, I definitely got teased because the main rugby field at college is named Goldstones.
okay.
And I chose to go to St. Charles and then later in matric play on that field. So a lot of college boys gave me stick for it, but I'm a St. Charles boy.
You took it like a rolling stone.
Exactly.
Okay. And marketing. Why marketing?
I think it took a long time for me to figure out who I am. I originally studied law and it was great. It certainly developed some critical thinking. But fundamentally, I realized later on in life when I got into property and then started my own online teaching business that I love people and I love solving problems. And I found myself interested in psychology. And that's what marketing is. Marketing is figuring out what people are going through, what they want, and then your product, how can you give that to them and solve a solution? And so in many different business formats, I think I really tick off of the strategy part of marketing. And so I found, having grabbed my legal experience, I spent time as a captain overseas. So when I add these things in, I found myself a lover of people and a lover of problem solving. And so coming into a multifaceted business like this with many departments, I found myself fully equipped, but also so ready to take on new things as we learn and as we develop and transform. And so I'm perfectly positioned for such a time as this.
Oh, great. So you say you were a captain overseas? Captain for?
On a super yacht. So I started and I studied law and I hated the administration and paperwork.
Right.
I went overseas and I sold property, and that's when I realized that I'm a fantastic people's person. I needed to make a decision on the direction I was going to go next in life. And I knew that a lot of people had recommended going yachting to pull yourself completely out of the world you were born in, the life you know, and to go across the world and get on the waters and be far from everything and figure out what do you want and who you are. And so I did that. And from being a deckhand to being a captain, I spent 2 years in France and we went around Antibes, the boot of Italy, and it was an incredible experience. But at the end of it, I just said, I need to live back on land. I need to get married. It's great. The white picket fence is not what I want, but I can't be a sailor all my life. And so that's when I decided to get married and come back to my hometown, Pietermaritzburg.
She reeled you in. Is that what she did?
Proper. Yes,
Hook, line, and sinker.
proper.
As the marketing manager at the Witness, what's it like? What does your day go like? What do you do?
I think it's important to first understand that as a 180-year-old legacy newspaper, we stand on the shoulders of men and women that have come before us, that have served in this industry, and that have taken it upon themselves to go and find the truth that's happening around them and go report about it. So I don't come in here saying, I'm going to change the game completely before looking at what's already been done and what we're fighting for. And we're fighting for people to stay connected and to stay informed. And so with that as the initial mindset coming in, I think it changes the game completely because as marketing, you're involved in many different aspects of the business, from public relations and being the face of the company. And that means a lot to other people. When they take a subscription with you, or they engage in your content, they feel like they need a personality from the business side to meet with and to engage with. And so if I can be that for the Witness to our readership and to our audience, then that's a huge honor and a privilege. And so I find myself in that space. But then with the digital revolution taking over, social media is so important and young people are so important. And so we need to meet them where they're at. And where are they engaging? On every social platform available. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, they're everywhere. And the point is not how can you create noise so they see you, but how can you be of value to them? And so when I take the different departments and hats that I have to wear, from public relations, social media management, and then events and the brand representation of that.
Justin, it's been 5 months that you are with the Witness team. What has that journey been like? What have you learned? And how are you planning to use it as you progress?
I think what's very important for people when they're trying to see something happen or make something happen is to continually go back to the drawing board and reflect on what has been done, and then to set a vision and try something new. And if you're continually reflecting and vision setting, you're able to fine tune your focus. And I think coming into a space like this, I've really done that. I've had to look at what we've done and then ask myself, what do I think needs to be done, and try that, because there's no right answers in marketing. Marketing is about demand and supply, and people change. And so my thing is, how have people changed, and how can we still be involved in their lives from a new service point of view, but from a family community point of view. Ultimately, we don't just give people stuff to read, we welcome them into a community of like-minded
Yes.
thinkers. And I think it's really important when you start looking at your specific role is to have this macro picture of what are we here to do and how can we do that. And in my experience, it's very easy if you don't see, as somebody that was in the yachting industry, if your ship is just going 1 degree off from where you're meant to be going, you're going to end up in a whole different continent down the line. And so this constant reframing, reflecting, and then vision setting has been so important in me stepping into this new role, but also with the fact that there's a long-term future in mind.
No, great. And it's almost as if though you're using your experience as a captain to to sail and to go along.
Don't make me blush.
Justin, working with the team, and you work with, everyone from the company, and um, tell us how you go about working with different departments, and what's a day like? What makes it fun? What makes it Justin? Because sometimes we see you with the top hat, sometimes we see you wearing antique items, and that's what makes you you. And then how do you use that to also market yourself?
So, firstly, I see a well-oiled machine or organization working as a full body. So, there's hands, there's feet, there's noses, there's lips, there's ears, there's kneecaps. They all have different functions, but ultimately, they're all serving the same body. And I think coming into a marketing role, I've really seen that there's so many different roles.
Yes.
Each of them, though, are aiming at the same goal at the end. And so, firstly, coming in and being able to appreciate our digital creators, our advertising sales reps, our editors upstairs, our finance guys, our circulation. There's all these different departments, and I think seeing them as different but one is so important.
Okay, as the marketing manager, how do you play according to different roles and adapt to different roles in the organization and on your day in a day-to-day basis?
I think versatility is very key, especially when you're young. And the world will tell you that you need to develop one skill and be good at that and offer it to the world and become rich. But in today's climate and economy, if you're not multifaceted in what you can offer, then I think as a start, you need to go back to the drawing book. I think second to that, when it comes to being able to play in different roles, you can't make that stuff up. Otherwise, it looks like you can't handle what that requires. So you really have to lean into your life experience. And as somebody that's only 30 years old, I mean, I've only got 12 years of work experience, but what that did offer me was versatility, as we've explained earlier. And so I think I'm able to both be the clown in the office, but I'm able to be serious on a stage and present gifts to kids. And I think I couldn't do that if it wasn't for the things I've failed at in life that have really, and the things I've done well, that have really given me an organic confidence to be me, and then to not let people rate me, but let myself rate me. Because there's a fascinating quote that says, "I don't care who you guys boo at. I've seen what you cheer for." And I love that because I think we live in a day and age where we care so much naturally what people are thinking of us. And I think my special factor or card is that I just don't. People may think that, hey, this guy's trying to do this or look like this, but I think my greatest asset is I really don't care what people think. And so that allows me to be completely me. And in a role where I'm required to wear different hats, being me is my only option that will work.
So, in terms of the campaigns that you've been working with and working on, which have you enjoyed so far, and what has like really brought meaning to you? And you said, "Hey, I really loved working on this campaign, and it's given me like a new lease or a new look on life."
So we implemented a Mother's Day video, which sounds very normal. But what we saw from that is that there's an opportunity to story tell about your brand in a video. And why I'm mentioning that is when you look at the digital landscape, it's so fast and there's so many people producing. I'm realizing now that if you're not communicating your brand identity and welcoming people into a different world, then you're not doing enough, especially when it comes to these deeper, meaningful types of videos. And so I think storytelling is so important because too many people are trying to convert before they connect. Storytelling is so important because no one can tell you that what you've experienced is incorrect. And if you're able to tell an honest story about what you've gone through or what you've seen happen, you allow people the ability to connect with you. And it's only after people connect with you that the magic happens. And too many people are trying to talk to headlines and talk to brick walls and not to the people that make these organizations work. And so, as a pastor's kid, but also as somebody that loves story, that can see the benefit in story, I'm just so passionate about it. And I think when your goal and endeavor is a good one, it's easy to formalize the stories around that and around that mission. And being in the heart of the Witness newspaper, there are so many stories, great stories, sad stories, tragic stories. And I think looking forward into this digital age, how can we take both our print and our digital and marry them together to offer our community the pick of the best in these modern times?
No, great. And in terms of marketing, it's absolutely wonderful to see how both of them come together and give our readers, as we say, we meet them where they are.
Exactly. And that is the beauty. Whether it's print to your doorstep or it's digital access to our world and our community, we're making sure that we've got the stories that matter and the things that are happening that matter, that they're in your hand.
Lovely, Justin. Thank you for joining us. And
Pleasure.
I
It's
know
been
that you're very
awesome.
busy. You have a busy schedule with all the events, but thank you for joining us and giving us an insight into your days.
Pleasure. I've absolutely loved it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Joining us is our advertising and marketing manager for our community papers, Ursula Niesel. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm very well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. So briefly, please explain who Ursula is?
Oh. Mother,
Mother.
passionate community newspaper person,
Mm-hmm.
believe very, very strongly in community newspapers, the impact that the community newspapers have on the environment, on the readers, on the advertisers. Somebody who is very, very passionate about what they do and how they do it.
Now, I understand that you've been working as an advertising manager for a number of years. How long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for over 35 years.
Oof, that's older than me. Oh my gosh.
I am ex-witness.
Yeah.
So I was in their classified department. Then I moved into a new division they had opened, which was features and supplements, and I headed up that team. Then they opened a community newspaper called The Mirror, and I headed that one up as well. And after that, I left after 20 years, and I joined Ricardo here when he had the Public Eye and the Echo, the Msunduzi Ayetu.
Yeah.
And from there, things have just grown and progressed.
Okay, what is at the heart of community newspapers and what inspires the passion for you and your job?
The fact that the content is hyperlocal, the fact that we focus on what is happening in the community where we are circulating the papers, that if it is a Maritzburg Sun story, it is relevant to that community. If it's an Echo Ayetu story, relevant to the community that we serve in that particular area where we distribute the papers. And then, of course, we also have the Public Eye, which is another totally different market.
So how do you juggle between advertising and marketing manager of the community newspapers?
Basically, marketing and advertising fall together. One complements the other. Advertising, obviously, we always are looking at budgets, whereas on the marketing side, it's all about supporting the community issues, where whether it's child welfare or community chest or an organization that is doing good in the community. We are very, very focused on supporting the community with marketing them and letting people know what's happening in the community.
So apart from you and working and endless hours of that work, what else do you like to do apart from that?
I love self-sustainability. I love being able to plant trees, fruit trees. I have 32 fruit trees in containers that are bearing fruit.
What? Why don't I know about this?
I have my own vegetable garden, my own herb garden.
That's really nice.
Dry my herbs, paint, I knit, not normal knitting, I knit with beads and feathers and leather and that type of thing. I just would be an arty person. It's my passion. I love growing things. I love using my hands.
Very creative.
Yeah. Yes.
Very, very creative. I love that. Love that. So in the changing times, we've had, with media and all of that, how has it advertising and marketing changed over the past years?
As much as everything has changed, it's also all stayed the same. Yes, there is now social media. We have electronic billboards. We literally now have a huge packet or package that we can offer potential advertisers. If print doesn't suit someone, we have social media. If social media doesn't suit someone, we have billboards. We have the mobile billboards, which we've had a lot of interest in as well. But ultimately, the community newspapers are still very, very strong in the marketplace. It's the hyperlocal content. It's the soul of the community. We give readers what they want to see in each individual paper.
So how do you measure the success of an advertising campaign, and what key performance indicators do you prioritize?
I can't mention any specific company because I'd be very uncomfortable actually picking out one company over another. But the fact that we have advertisers who are continuously in our papers, week in and week out, that alone would speak volumes, that clients then are getting the response that they need from their adverts. Um,
But what are some of the indicators that you would say, okay, if this happens, then the campaign was really, really good?
Ultimately, feet in the door,
Mm-hmm.
an increase in consumer spend, all of that is a huge toll on if the client decides that they are wanting to advertise again or not. But our main priority, feet in the door, consumer spend, that is where we need to be for our advertisers.
What challenges have you faced in advertising for a print media? Like, what is like the main challenges that you face?
Obviously, social media has had an
Yeah.
impact, but we've managed to introduce it as part of the package. The fact that we're still very strong in the community, our print is going to be around for a very, very long time,
Wow, that's great to
especially
hear.
in the community
Yeah.
newspaper side. People are passionate about it. We get calls at 8 o'clock in the morning asking us where their paper is. It's late, 5 minutes late. It's a huge thing in the community. People look for the papers, but there has been a shift. But if we don't stay on top of the shift, then we're going to get left behind.
Yeah, definitely.
So we now introduce the whole package. We promote the whole package. We offer the whole package to our advertisers.
That's really nice. It's really, really nice. I know that you have some campaigns that you drive through marketing, where Capital Newspaper is media partners with a number of organizations. How does that partnership benefit our communities?
Ultimately, if the community doesn't know what is available for them, they can't utilize the services, whether it's child welfare, whether it's the Midlands Hindu Society who's doing something, a fundraiser for an old age home. Literally, we're giving this information to our readers to actually help support those specific charities. Yeah.
So yeah, that was basically it. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ursula. It was really wonderful to get to know you better.
Thank you.
Today on the Witness podcast is Avir Tulsiram. He is the Witness advertising manager. He has many years of experience under him, and we are just going to learn more about what his role is about. Avir, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Shorné, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Okay. As we were talking, you said that you have 15 years in this field. What has it been like for you?
It's been a roller coaster. Firstly, I have a bit of a funny story, a funny journey. I started off at the Public Eye in 2010 out of varsity. Worked there for 2.5 years. Then I moved into the Witness, or applied for a job at the Witness, got that job. And then in 2010, the Witness, in 2020, the Witness position became a mixed team where we sold into community titles, Echo, Maritzburg Fever, and the Great Town Gazette. A management position came up there. I applied for that position as a Great Echo and Great Town Gazette manager. I received that job by thanks of God. And then in 2022, Mr. Jacobs bought our company, bought the Witness. And then I became the Witness sales manager in 2023. And it's been a fun, hard journey, I would say. Lots of learning curves. Still learning every day. But I really enjoy this industry.
Oh, great. And you have a team that you work with. What is it like managing that team and working towards your goals?
The ultimate goal as a sales manager is to meet financial targets on a regular basis, be that monthly, quarterly, yearly. And my team, I am grateful that we have a good relationship amongst the team. There's a good sense of unity. We do have the occasional client fighting over a rep fighting over specific clients, but they will just go to paper trail. It's the easiest way to dissolve it fairly. Um, that's what I would say. But my team, more or less, is very, very efficient, very united. That's a great help to me.
No, great. And so far, I'm sure you've worked with many campaigns, many advertisers. And what has been the best campaign that you've worked with, made an impact on you?
There were a lot of campaigns that we did do in the 15 years, but the two that stand out for me was the last old Royal Show before it closed down or stopped. Uh, the reason being is because you could see the importance of the Royal Show in the Bismarcksburg community. People were eager to be in it or be a part of it because they said it was closing down or stopping. And the second one would have to be the comrades, with its legacy of being the ultimate human race. You actually see the support from the national and direct clients. So that was quite a good one to be part of.
Are you planning to,
No,
to
no, no.
participate?
I'm not a runner.
anytime
I'm not a
soon?
runner.
Okay. And just, in general, what does it take to be relevant remain relevant with your clients and to keep those relationships?
The most important thing I would say in sales, in any business, but especially in our business with the digital competition being so strong, it has to be the relationship with the clients. Uh, I'm a big believer of regular visits to clients. I'm a big believer of checking up on clients, just as with hello, how are you? Those small things make a big difference, and they show the client that you have a sense of caring towards them. Not only you want their money, which we ultimately want as a business, but we want to be a part of their business and also want them to grow. If my thinking is, if you can help a company grow, they will ultimately help you grow. So that's my main philosophy. I tell my sales team, sometimes it's not just about taking the money of a client, it's about finding a solution to his problem that he may have. So
And any message of thanks or that you'd like to share with your clients over the years?
I'd like to thank every client that supported us, because without them we won't be where we are today. Even if it's a 5 rand to the big amount that they do spend, every cent does count, especially in this financial time. Uh, all industries are going through a hard time, and it's because of their support that we are still around.
No, great stuff, Avir. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our page.
See you guys
next week.